Hi, BrenTech here, where tech is made simple. Microsoft has released the latest optional bug fix C release update for Windows 11 23H2, KB5055629, which rolled out late yesterday in my part of the world. Now, the update is optional, so you will not have to install this update unless you have the get the latest updates as soon as they are available toggle turned on. And if you do decide to install the update on 23H2, the build will be bumped up to 22631.5262. Now, this is more or less the same update I posted on when it was in its final stages of testing in the release preview channel. So a very similar update is now rolling out to the stable channel. Now, first of all, we get 5 new features, and all the features and fixes I'm going to mention now are rolling out gradually, so you may or may not see them at the get-go. First of all, for File Explorer, we have a new feature where Microsoft says that pivot-based curated views on File Explorer Home now support ease of access of Microsoft 365 content on Windows. And then they've also rolled out a fix where they've improved the performance of extracting zip files, where Microsoft says, particularly in the case where you're unzipping a large number of small files. And I actually think that is quite a significant fix if you are using that feature in File Explorer. Just to mention the next, it's for Narrator, which is an accessibility feature. You can now keep track of what Narrator has spoken and access it for quick reference. With a new feature called Speech Recap, Microsoft says you can quickly access spoken content, follow along with live transcription, and copy what Narrator last said. And then for Phone Link, we get a new feature. And Microsoft says you can now do even more with your Windows PC and your mobile device with direct access to cross-device features from the Start menu. And this is also called the Start Menu Companion. So as an example, you can make phone calls, you can send SMS messages, you can access your photos or share content between your mobile device and your PC. And if you are using the phone link, that might be a nice step in the right direction. Now, the next new feature is more pertaining to web developers, but Microsoft says that web developers can use their existing content to create interactive widgets that can be added to multiple widget surfaces. And then while we are talking about widgets, it's regarding the lock screen widgets, where support for lock screen widgets now, according to Microsoft, arrives on devices in the European Economic Area. So what you can do now, which is currently not available, which was previously not available, you can add, remove, and rearrange lock screen widgets such as weather, watch list, sports, traffic, and so on. And any widget that supports the small sizing option can also be added. Now, I'm on 24H2, and we haven't received the 24H2 update yet. But currently, as an example, in 24H2, you've only got weather and more or none. So that's changing. And I actually think that's a small, significant step in the right direction, just giving us a couple of options. And then here's another one I've posted on previously. I'll leave the video for this link down below, where the logic for apps pinned to the desktop has been updated. So the apps no longer show an accent colored backplate. So I'll leave the video because it'll give you all the information you need. Because currently, if you drag Snipping Tool as an example onto your desktop, it's got a solid colored backplate, which doesn't look nice if you're trying to customize your desktop. And that's now going to become a lot more translucent and transparent. Go check the video out for more information. And I actually think that's quite a nice move. And then this feature, the next one, was actually pulled in preview for 24H2, but I see Microsoft is rolling it out, although gradually, to 23H2, where you can now make last-minute edits such as cropping, rotating, and adding filters to images shared through the share sheet. So that's directly when you're sharing an image in that actual menu that pops up. You can, as we can see, you can now crop, rotate, and add filters, as an example, to different images. And I think that's also a step in the right direction if you are doing a lot of sharing. And then for the start menu, we get 2 fixes. The first, Microsoft says, is where you couldn't use touch gestures to view the list of apps pinned in the start menu. So that's been fixed. And then there's a fix for the account manager. So the sign out and more options, 3-dotted buttons in the start menu. Account manager might not be visible with increased text size. And then the last fix rolling out gradually is if you are using the Windows key and T to scroll through your different apps that are minimized or pinned or open in the taskbar. Microsoft says there's a fix for that, where if you use the arrow keys, the arrows move in the wrong direction for Arabic and Hebrew display languages. So if you are in those regions, that issue has been addressed. So those are all the fixes and new features, 5 new features rolling out gradually. And then just a quick mention, we get 5 fixes and improvements rolling out on a normal rollout. So everybody will get these. And I'm just going to mention 3 which I think you might be interested in. There's a fix for a known issue where the built-in USB camera won't work with Windows Hello sign-in unless you manually disable enhanced sign-in security. And I think I posted a video on this. So this is another known issue that's been fixed, which is always good. So the issue was that if you create a Windows Hello container while using Windows 11 version 23H2, it might prevent you from using the ESS, which is the enhanced sign-in security, after you upgrade to Windows 11 version 24H2. So there was an upgrade block, so that's now been patched, especially if you are wanting to move up to 24H2, which I think you are on 23H2. I think you should hold off because 24H2, in my personal opinion, has still got a good couple of issues. And I said I would post a video when I feel it's safe to upgrade to 24H2. And then the last 2 fixes are both for Xbox. Microsoft says this update addresses an issue affecting Xbox Elite wireless controllers with certain firmware versions where the keyboard might not function and displays an error indicator in the device manager. And then the next fix is the driver verifier stops responding during gamepad controller driver certification, affecting Windows hardware quality labs testing. And there's 2 other fixes that are taking place and fixing issues under the hood. So that's more or less what's new in this latest optional bug fix C release update for 23H2 KB5055629. And we are still waiting for Windows 11 24H2's optional update to roll out, which I'm sure if we don't see this week, we'll get early next week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.